Welcome to Phuket, Thailand. Today I'm rating Phuket as a place to live as an expat, and I'm going to share with you 10 reasons why it might be a good place to live as an expat, but I'm also going to share with you 20 reasons why it's not a good place as an expat. And here I am driving around Phuket town. It's hot today. It's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 32 degrees Celsius. And it's crowded. Phuket is rated the world's most over-tourism destination. Today I went to the beach. It was crowded too. Could barely find a place to sit down. There were beach chairs everywhere. And driving there was crowded too. All the roads are congested. It's hard to navigate around Phuket. The other thing I noticed, a lot of signs in Russian. Almost everywhere you go, you see restaurants, Russian signs. And today I went up to the lookout over Phuket town, kind of overlooks the city. One thing I noticed, the clouds. The sky's never as blue as it once was. There's always like this haze or fogginess, or what you would probably call air pollution. Just not the same as it used to be. About a year ago, I was riding these streets of Phuket town, telling you guys how great life in Thailand is as an expat over 50 years old. And is Thailand still great for expats? I think so. Is Phuket still great for expats? Well, let me explain. I'm going to interview a couple of expats during this video and get their opinion. One's kind of bearish on living in Phuket. The other one's very bullish. And get their opinion and their insight. But let me park the bike here, take a deeper dive into, is Phuket a good location for expats over 50 in 2025? Let me park here and we'll have a deeper discussion about this topic. So 10 reasons why Phuket still might be a place that is desirable for us expats. I'm going to get to that list in just a minute, but a couple things first. This video, for sentimental reasons, it's a little bit difficult to make because I showed up in Phuket 4 years ago and have lived here for 4 years. But as you're watching this video, I have now already left. So I'm doing this on my last few days here in Phuket. I used to really love Phuket. I came for a week and never left. It was absolutely wonderful. I thought it was the best place in the world at that time. Now that was during the pandemic. A lot has changed since then. So the other thing is, this is part of a series that I'm making about different places around Thailand to live as an expat. And I rank them as tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. So tier 1 being more common places to live as an expat. Tier 4 being less common. So tier 1 would be Phuket, Pattaya, Bangkok, and Chiang Mai. And if you want to see a lot more info, I'm starting to build out the Borderless.com website a lot more, and we'll have a lot more resources on there, videos and articles and everything else. So reason number 1, that Phuket could still be a desirable place for those of us expats. Reason number 1 would be the weather. It's warm. You never get cold, you never get ice, you never get snow. So as we get older, I know I do, my joints start to hurt in the cold weather. So I didn't say the weather was good in Phuket, because lately it's been raining a lot, it's cloudy, it's hazy, but it's always warm weather. The second reason, beaches. There's a lot of beaches in Phuket. Phuket probably has over 40 beaches. The landmass is quite huge. And again, I didn't say the beaches are good, because they've changed a lot. They're very crowded, they're a little more polluted, and some of them are totally occupied by beach chairs, and it's just hard to enjoy. But still, it has great beaches if you look for them, if you seek them out, and if you go at the right time of day, you can still enjoy a nice beach. Reason number 3, ocean activities. So whether you like to go fishing, if you like to go scuba diving, if you like to swim in the ocean, quite good in Phuket. And I should also mention that certain months of the year, Phuket has the most no-one surfing in Thailand. So reason number 4 is air quality. Not that it's great, it's still 70 or higher, but relative to the rest of Thailand, the air quality in Phuket is better than Chiang Mai or Bangkok. The next reason, Phuket is relatively affordable too. the United States and Europe. Not affordable to Thailand. As a matter of fact, it's probably the most expensive destination in Thailand. But relative to Western countries, you still get good value for your money. The next reason is the expat community. You know, Phuket's kind of broken up into sections, almost like 6 sections of the landmass. And each section has its own little expat community, and they're expats from all over the world. So for those expats who like living here, they always talk about how they really enjoy the international people they meet here, and they like their what becomes their local community. Because there are so many expats from all over the world, you get all these different food options. So I'll say it is the best food in Thailand. I've been all over Thailand, and you have all options from local prices. If you want to spend more money or hundreds of dollars on a dinner, you can do that, but it's the best food in Thailand. And then you have all kinds of cuisines from all over the world, from all different countries. So that might be the next reason why expats would find Phuket is a desirable place to live. As we get to number 8, 9, and 10, I'm gonna walk away from that selfie spot and talk about reason number 8, which is healthcare. Healthcare for Phuket is pretty good, especially like cosmetic surgery. You're gonna get more of that here, more options here. So for healthcare options compared to being somewhere more remote, you have a few major hospitals here, and you have many specialists, great doctors who choose to practice in Phuket. Reason number 9, it's not really my thing, but shopping. You do have a major mall here with all your brands that some of you might like. I try not buying things. I like to live more of a minimal lifestyle. But for those of you who like a mall, and I do know some expats living in Phuket that really like that mall, and they go there and walk around. I'd rather go to the gym or to outdoors, to the beach. But some do like going to that mall. You have your food courts, you have your movie theater, you have all your shops. So that might be the 9th reason why Phuket is still good for expats over 50. Reason number 10 why Phuket is good place for expats is fitness. It's really kind of a fitness mecca. I've been all over the world, and I've seen a lot of good fitness, say in Miami, in LA, but Phuket is tough to beat. And it might even be the best in the world in regard to fitness options. And same goes for golfing. If you like to golf, as far as Thailand is concerned, Phuket does have some options for golfing. Now, those are the 10 reasons why Phuket still might be a good place for those of you who are expats. But now for the 20 reasons why it's no good, or for what I feel, it's not good place for those of us who are expats. I'm gonna go cool off. It's super hot here, it's humid. Gonna go get a cold coffee, sit down. Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao, how are you? Where are you from?
I'm from China.
Shanghai?
Yeah, Shanghai. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Good to see you. Ni hao. How are you?
Glad to see you.
How's this guy? Good?
Good.
Good to see you. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the guys from China, the tourists from China, I feel like they're the most friendly in Phuket. I can't say that for all of them, all the tourists and all the countries, but in my opinion, the Chinese tourists, when you say ni hao or hello, they're just so warm and friendly. So I'm gonna go cool off here. I'm gonna have a seat and tell you 20 reasons why Phuket is not a good place for those of us who are expats. Time to cool off a little bit, sitting right here at a cafe called AT in Phuket town. Okay, so the list of 20 things. Why Phuket is not desirable as a place as an expat. Let's start with the first one, and everybody talks about it. The traffic is horrible, and it keeps getting worse. You have roads that were built for a low population. You have all this new building going on. You have all these new workers here, and it's just overloaded. So anyone you talk to, they will tell you that the traffic here is out of control. And if you have to go on the roads in Phuket, it's just unpleasant. The second reason why Phuket is not desirable as a place to live as an expat is what I call the ease a day. It's just how the day feels, and everywhere you go in Phuket right now, there's a lot of traffic. Everything's really crowded. Everything is congested, whether you're on the beach, whether you're shopping, whether you're in Phuket town, whether you're at some restaurants. It's just overloaded, and it just makes the day not so easy. The third reason, I don't know what happened, but it feels like the weather has changed. So this past year, you come to Phuket thinking you're going to be on an island enjoying sunny days and blue skies. It's been anything but that. It's been cloudy. It's been raining a lot, which is supposed to be. There's a rainy season, but it seems like it extended into January this year. And now, even though the sun is shining, you get this kind of haze of pollution. I feel like the weather is changing. That's the third reason why I don't feel like it's a good place to live as an expat. The fourth reason, the air quality always used to be really good in Phuket, but with all this industry, all this construction, everything else going on in the environment, the air quality has been downgraded. It's no longer as great air quality as it once was, and it's still better than a lot of Thailand, but it's definitely getting worse. The fifth reason, it's expensive. It's not expensive compared to the US, but expensive compared to other destinations to live in Thailand as an expat. So you get rising costs, and I feel like the value is not there. So for what you're spending, you're not getting as much back as much as you would in another place around Thailand. The sixth reason is quality of life downgrade. How do I measure quality of life? It's multiple things. Some of them are visible, some are not. And I'll write a complete article about this on the borderlessoffice.com, where I kind of define what good quality of life is. But right now, quality of life in Phuket is definitely downgraded, and it keeps sliding down further. A lot of it has to do with the congestion, the traffic, the kind of people that are here, and it's just all one big cocktail that is getting worse. The quality of life isn't what it once was. Reason number 7, the elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. The Russians are taking over Phuket. It's becoming more Russia and less Thailand. If I want to live in Russia, I'll go to Russia. I'll live in Moscow. I don't want to live in Russia, so Phuket's not that desirable for me right now. I want to live in Thailand and be around local Thais. So what you're having right now in Phuket, the Thai culture is diluting. It's being replaced with more of a Russia culture. No matter where you go, you're around Russians. You're hearing Russian being spoken. I have some buddies here in Phuket that are Russian. They're great guys. But if I want to live around a lot of Russians, I'll move to Russia. And I don't want to do that. So I'll move to a town that's more local and has a more Thai feel. Reason number 8, tensions are rising. You're reading a lot more about local foreigner conflict. There's a lot more conflict between foreigners. You can just feel it in the air. It's the first time now where I'll be out and about driving around and I see Thais frustrated with foreigners driving, and usually Thais are really tolerant, patient, and they just somehow put the smile on their face even in the worst of times. But that's starting to shift now. I'm hearing people honk and get a little more aggravated. And for the Thais that are here in Phuket, they have every reason to get aggravated with the foreigners who are on the roads and being unpleasant and acting belligerent. So I think that's only going to get worse. Reason number 9, it goes along with traffic. It's just crowded. No matter where you go right now, it's crowded. If you want to go to a movie, it's crowded. Some people don't mind crowded, but if I want crowded, I'll move back home. I'll go to New York or LA or, a busy city. And I don't want busy. At this stage of my life, I like a little more quiet. The 10th reason is what I call the in-between. So it's the in-between of going from home to the gym, from the gym to the beach to the sauna, to the massage. All that is unpleasant. There's nothing enjoyable about that. You can hop on the motorbike, you can be in a car stuck for hours. You can be on a motorbike and fear for your life because there's too many crazy foreign drivers. I'll argue that the Thai drivers aren't that bad in Phuket because they're more cautious for the most part. You get some that think they're on a speed race, but for the most part. But you get these meatheads all steroided up who just feel like you're one unlucky day away from being hit by them. Reason number 11, one reason I moved to Thailand is for the peacefulness, which I still feel when I go to, say, Khon, Kaen, or even parts of Bangkok. I still feel the peacefulness, but that's being replaced with more of a Western feel now. I feel like it's a little more agitated, a little more tension, especially on the road. So that's another reason. The peacefulness of Thailand is fading from Phuket, making it one more reason it's less desirable to live here. Reason number 12 is safety, and that's another key variable for me when I pick a place to live as an expat. And the lack of safety here, it's the roads. So you see a lot of crashes, you see a lot of people getting hurt, a lot of innocent drivers or pedestrians getting hit, usually by foreigners. So I don't feel safe here like I used to. So it's one more reason I think it's undesirable. Reason number 13, dating. Now dating is a dynamic, kind of a complex topic. I'm gonna save a whole nother video about dating in Thailand. But dating in Phuket, if you're looking to meet a significant other or a partner, Phuket's the wrong place. Phuket's great if you want a transactional arrangement, and there's limitless options. But I've talked to a lot of expats about this. As far as finding a partner or a desire to meet your mate in Thailand, don't come to Phuket. If you come with a pocket full of money and you want to have your interactions transactional, Phuket can be great, but so can Pattaya. If you want a relationship, you're not going to find that in Phuket. It's very transactional. Healthcare in Phuket is still quite good, but what I noticed lately, you know, a lot of expats go to Bangkok hospital for their care, and it's still good, but you're starting to feel like they're getting overwhelmed. It's too busy, so compared to a couple years ago, the quality of service has been downgraded. If I go there to get a checkup, the follow-up has been not so great, whereas before it was phenomenal. And it's still phenomenal if I go to the dentist, say in Chiang Mai or somewhere else in Thailand, but I don't get that same quality healthcare feeling that I used to have in Phuket, that I used to brag about, and I don't brag about it anymore. Reason number 15, it has to do with the environment, it's flooding. I think we're starting to see a lot more flooding in Phuket that makes things inconvenient. It's probably only going to get worse. Related to flooding, the environment's just overwhelmed in Phuket right now. You can see it with landslides, you see it with the flooding, you see it with the air quality, you see it with the trash on the beaches, you see it with the water being less clear, you see it with the sky being less blue. And it's only going to get worse. The infrastructure is just not built for this many people, and it just makes it an unpleasant experience for everyone living here, including all the local Thais that I talk to. They say the same thing, and it's only gonna get worse. They keep building all these condos. You see everywhere you go, you see cranes. Before it gets horrible, and it will, it's really bad now, but it's gonna get a lot worse. Before it gets horrible, I chose to leave. And fast forward, having a little vision, Phuket's starting to buckle. So there's certain things that might just cause a big problem if you're living here. Number 18, trash disposal. It's well known, it's in the news right now that there's too much trash in Phuket, and they don't have enough. If you go over here to the incinerator, it's not big enough to handle all the trash. So it's starting to pile up. You can smell sewage in some of the streets, and you can feel like it's just overflowing. You see it on the beaches. It's quite sad. And they're also saying that water could run out in certain sections of Phuket, like Patong and Kamala. And that's only going to get worse. Reason number 20, it might be relevant to some of you watching this that want to, say, buy a condo or a property here in Thailand. Don't do it in Phuket. It's pretty well documented that the values in Phuket are artificial. They're being inflated by money laundering, and you see all the new developments going up. So you're kind of getting this spike in prices, and eventually they're going to come down. And there's also some issues of which properties you buy. You don't want to get tied up in a property that has money laundering tied to it. That could cause some problems. So that would be number 20. Why Phuket is not a desirable place to live as an expat. I know some expats in Phuket that still kind of feel like they like it. And what I will say is this: the more I travel, the more I go around the world, the more I have perspective, and the more I know there are better places in the world to live, the less desirable Phuket becomes. And right now, I would take living in the US over living in Phuket. But if you're oblivious to life, if you're oblivious to the situation here, you still might kind of enjoy it. The other guy who still might enjoy Phuket as an expat is maybe the guy who just comes here for fitness or comes here for part-time during the year as an expat and has the freedom to do so. So I met a guy named Dani. He's from Germany, originally from Argentina. I had a quick discussion with him about this. So let's flash over to his interview. expats who choose to live in Phuket. And right now we're in the south of the island. If you look at the map right there, this is called Rawai. A lot of people love it down here for the fitness and Naihorn Beach. And here we are at Rawai Gym. And I'm talking to Dani. He lives in Germany. Dani.
Yes, I'm living actually in Frankfurt right
Frankfurt.
now. But I am originally from Argentina.
So Dani's story is he's going to be 60 in February.
Yes.
As it turns out, you've been coming to Thailand for a lot of years.
Yes, about 15 years already. The first years were more like having fun and traveling around the country. The last year it was more a healthy lifestyle, to train, to enjoy nature, to enjoy having friends. I've changed myself.
Yeah, so you were saying that one reason you come now, and you're still working, you retire when you're 67, right?
I'm not, yes, of course.
So he retires in Germany when he's 67, but his long-term plan would be to live full-time.
Yes, yes.
And when you do get your breaks for 3 or 4 months, you pick Phuket.
I pick Phuket. I pick Phuket because I love Phuket. And it's a nice place. It's kind of cheap still. And you meet people from all over the world. I love it. And I love, at most, the possibilities to train. Here are many gyms, Muay Thai gyms, yoga gyms.
Dani, it's interesting. I hear this a lot from people. As a matter of fact, when I moved here 4 years ago and showed up in Phuket for 1 week, I stayed 4 years in Rawai because a lot of it was because of the fitness, the nature, the exercise really drew me in.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it is like a fitness mecca.
It's a fitness mecca, it's a fitness community, and mind-like people you meet, and you get nice energies, and again you want to live and move and take action in your life.
Yeah, man.
And this place is special.
So you said one reason you like it here is the value, the cost of living.
Yes.
What's your budget like in 1 month?
Okay, I have to think first. It depends on how much do you pay for one room apartment.
How much?
I'm paying now 12,000 baht.
12,000, so like $300.
But if you come in the low season, you pay maybe $200.
Okay, wow.
And then with the food, it's another problem. I love to eat Thai food, but if you want to eat Western food, you have to pay more. But I think you have from the bottom until the most expensive foods you can eat here. But I prefer to live a simple life.
Yeah.
And to eat healthy.
Yeah, you were saying you get up early before the sun's
Yes,
rise.
I love to go to the beach and walk, sometimes in the night, alone with the dogs, the stray dogs. And then I go to Rawai Beach and I see the sunrise. For me, it's my nurture for the day. And you start the day with nice vibrations, you know. Hey, it's nice to be alive.
What are a couple things that aren't so great about Phuket?
Okay, now it's more touristic than maybe 10 years ago. The traffic is terrible now. The prices are going up.
Thank you for your time. And I think Dani has a good program, so I might even come back for 4 weeks at a time, get all the body work, do all the fitness, and enjoy Phuket, maybe in the off season, but we'll see how it goes. Seated here with Simon. Simon, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Simon's been living in Phuket for 3 years. He's from the UK, also lived 8 years in Bangkok. The reason why he moved to Phuket is one of the main reasons is your parents are living in Phuket for 15 years?
15 years now, yes.
And longer in Thailand. We'll get into that. So, rating Phuket is a place to live as an expat. That's the topic of this video. I'm traveling all around Thailand, rating different places to live as an expat and focusing on tier 1, 2, 3, and what I call tier 4 places, meaning most common.
Yep.
And Phuket is a tier 1, along with Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and Pattaya, or more common for expats.
For certain, yes.
So here we are in Phuket. We're at a place called Blue Tree. It's more up north. Now Simon, before moving to this area with his wife and his daughter, was living in Bang Tao.
Yes, right in Laguna, so right in the heart of the tourist area up here in Chonburi, Bangkok area.
Let's fast forward in our interview real quick. I'm going to ask you some bold questions and then we're going to peel back.
Sure.
You have a friend in the UK thinking about moving to Thailand as an expat. Where would you tell that friend to move if, say, they were married with a child like yourself?
I mean, I think the first thought always has to be schooling. You'd have to be looking at Phuket, Bangkok, Chiang Mai would be the three places with decent enough schools to really warrant moving to. Phuket's a lovely place to live. Wouldn't be my choice if I was coming again right now, but it's a decent place to come.
We'll get into that. Now, pretend you're a guy like me,
Yes.
over 50, no kids, not married, and he's moving from the UK to Thailand. Where would you recommend that person live?
Outside of any of your tier 1 locations, I would be going for Krabi, Surat, Songkhla, Chiang Rai, somewhere slightly off the beaten track where you're avoiding lots and lots of tourists coming in all the time.
It's funny you say that. Krabi will be profiled in the next video. I am moving to Surat. I'm leaving Phuket. I've been here 4 years. So it's interesting to hear you say this. Now, for a guy like me watching, thinking about moving to Thailand, give us 2 or 3 reasons why not to move to Phuket.
It's hugely overdeveloped now. So the amount of construction going on the island is, it's unsustainable. We don't have the structure and infrastructure to maintain that building. The Thai authorities and the Phuket government seem to be concentrating on quantity over quality tourism. So every year they preach that, we need better quality, well-respected visitors spending more money, but instead they're bringing in more and more people, low budget, who aren't really looking after the place.
In my most recent video about Phuket, I talked about this topic, predictions for 2025, and one of the predictions is the downgrade. You said quantity over quality, that the quality is sliding.
It has been for a while, I think.
So awesome, man. It's great to have your experience shared for them watching because of what you're doing. You're in construction, more or less. You're inspecting.
Inspecting, yeah. So
new development.
New development, old development. We do property management as well as state management. So we cover a wide range of stuff. But I do look at a lot of housing on the island and see the quality that's going on into it.
And they're not the building standards that we're used to in the West.
There's really very little building standards, so you have to be very careful whatever you're buying here to make sure that it's actually...
You moved to Phuket 3 years ago.
Yes.
How has it changed over the last 3 years?
3 years ago, we were just coming out of COVID. When we arrived, there was still the testing that you had to do down at the airport, and it was quiet. The tourism wasn't really back in full run yet. And things were being built. There was development, but it was nowhere near this case. And we didn't have the Russians to anywhere near the level we have now. And I have Russian friends. They're very nice people, but it's become the point now where there's so many people from certain countries that it makes it hard to integrate sometimes.
You talk about the Russians. I also, when I play my football, my team's Russia guys,
Yeah.
And do you feel a shift in the cultural feeling, okay? So in Phuket, after this arrival, if there's so many Russians?
Yeah, maybe it's not for me to say because, I'm a visitor here as well. And, they've got as much right to be here as me as an Englishman or someone else. But I do feel that places is not quite as friendly as it used to be beforehand. Maybe Russians have a slightly different demeanour and a different attitude, and so sometimes they're not as welcoming in many ways. But yeah, Phuket's switched its cultural backgrounds a bit. A lot of menus are in Russian rather than English.
Yeah, last night I was at a concert. It was all Russian, Russia hip hop guy, but it reminded me. It didn't feel like to me Thailand at all, and I feel, and I shared this in previous videos with them, that there's a shift that's happened in Thailand. It's one reason I'm moving away. Phuket's big, it's huge. I'm gonna pop a map up on the screen right now and show people that if they're not familiar with Phuket, you have the whole southern, like what you would call Nai Harn and Kata, right? Real. Okay.
Yes.
I think that's one kind of cultural or even unique area to live. And then if you go up a little bit further, I would call that even going into Patong. That's almost kind of its own subculture. Or if you veer off to the right there, you have Phuket Town, the central interior. That's kind of its own culture. Or you go to where you are now, Blue Tree, that kind of has its own thing.
Yeah.
And then just off to where you used to live, Bang Tao, that's another kind of subculture. And then if you go north of the airport, Mai Khao, that's kind of its own other little vibe. And then if you're still trying to find, get away from foreigners and be really local, then maybe you go east and go to a pocket over there next to the bay,
Yeah.
and you feel a little bit of localness. So with all that being said, those core areas, if you're an expat thinking about moving to Phuket, and you're like me,
Yeah.
no kids, you're not married, where would you tell that person to move?
Probably it's Phuket Town. I think at least it's a fun town, and you have the ability to live in an apartment there, have good accommodation, be able to get around to decent restaurants and places, and still go out to beaches and shopping if you wanted to.
Yeah, you know, I lived in Hawaii 3 years. It changed a lot when the Ukraine-Russia war started. And then I've always been fond of Phuket Town. I've been living there the past year. I agree with you. I think Phuket Town still has a little bit of the local charm.
Yeah.
It hasn't been diluted culturally like the beach areas.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the problem is, I think when you move to Phuket, you really need to think about what you want to do, because the travel and the transport is not easy. So if you live in Phuket Town, coming up to this part of town can take, 40 minutes, 45 minutes? And the same going down south. I mean, I never go to Ruwai or any of that, because it's probably an hour and 20 minutes to me.
Simon, how much longer do you plan to stay in Phuket?
For work, I think I'm tied here for the long term, so we'll be here for at least probably 10 more years. After that, we'll rethink it. We won't retire in Phuket, we'll retire elsewhere.
So in 10 years, your daughter will be in college.
Yes.
Where will we find you and your wife living? If you had to look into the crystal ball.
Well, I mean, if we were leaving now, we'd probably go to Krabi Town. We'd have to look at Krabi Town in 10 years' time. We might end up somewhere further south or further north. Somewhere where there's a quiet lifestyle, where I still feel like it's part of Thailand and I can relax and hopefully watch football as well.
Thank you, Simon. If you have freedom, if you have options, and you have the freedom to pick wherever you want to live in the world, or you're looking to live in Thailand as an expat, I would skip Phuket. To me, it's one of the worst places in the world right now to live as an American. I'd much rather live in a city in the US right now, but I still love Thailand. There are parts of Thailand that I'd much rather live than in the US. It's just not Phuket. I'm going to keep bringing you destinations around Thailand and rating them as places to live as an expat. And if you're watching this and you're living in a really cool place around Thailand and you're willing to share it, message me. I'd love to come visit you. Until next time, everyone, I'm going to say farewell from Phuket and see you on the next video.